Hey everyone, Joey Rusnak with Lifeguard Authority here. It's been a while since I've chatted with you all, but I posted something on my feed the other day and I got a bunch of people like messaging me and I was like, I don't actually know all of these answers. So I set out to find someone that can help me out. And this is about that conference alert that I posted the other day. So joining me is Tiernan. Tiernan, thank you for hopping on last minute when I reached out to you and being flexible. Do you want
No.
to, yeah, do you want to just tell the people quickly, like who you are, where you're from, kind of like what you do in your day job, and maybe why I asked you to talk about this?
Yeah, sure. I mean, my name's Tiernan Murphy. I run an organization called Making Waves Swim School. We started in Brampton. I used to work at the city of Brampton a couple of decades ago, a long time ago.
Don't say that
And
loud.
yeah, yeah. And I've been in the kind of swimming and aquatic space for 27 years and built up a number of different locations offering swimming lessons. And recently, started this group, the Canadian Swim School Alliance. It's our goal is really to kind of connect aquatic people around this country, and we're hosting our first conference in a couple of weeks. So I'm happy to jump on this call with you and spread the good word.
Well, and I'm glad because are you like on the board now? Is there a board with the Canadian Swim School? So like this was one of the questions I got people DMing me. They're like, who is the Canadian Swim School Alliance? So is this something that's like existed for a while and like I and other people just didn't know? Is this a new
Yeah.
organization? What's the deal with the Canadian Swim School Alliance?
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's always been connections in our industry, but when COVID hit and we got shut down in 2020, a lot of aquatic programmers, especially on the private side, started to reach out and connect and say, hey, let's get together and let's share ideas and best practices and really support each other through COVID, right? And we had so much success with that that we formalized the organization. Yes, we have a board of directors
Okay,
from all
cool.
over Canada, and yeah, we're kind of putting our stake down in Toronto and saying, hey, we want to get together. We want to have our first national conference, and we're doing it the beginning of November.
So that's really cool because for me, like municipalities, I think sometimes come together in these moments of crisis. I would say
Right.
during COVID, we were a little more scattered than we might want to admit. But what's neat about the swim schools coming together is like I think people assume swim schools are all very like competitive, like my business, and you're all like cutthroat to each other. So it's really neat to hear that COVID brought you guys together and you've formed this organization because I think that's against what a lot of people might expect to hear. How has it been going? Like you said, you came together in COVID. Um, like, have you had lots of positive outcomes so far of that collaboration? Like, what are some of the big takeaways from you guys connecting?
Well, like if I can just lean into some of those first comments you made, like getting together with swim schools and aquatic providers, whether it's in Australia, like I've done for many years, or the US, there's always been a sense of sharing and collaborating
Cool.
and sharing best ideas and best practices. There's so many kids out there to teach. We don't need to be competitive with one another. We need to raise everybody's game. So that's always existed in our industry. And with you and I working together, or other people in municipalities working together, we've always tried to share. So I think it's part of our industry. But yeah, there's been a lot of learning that's come out of COVID. A lot of collaboration, and we've learned some lessons just around staffing, how important they are to us, right? Staying connected with them, bringing them on board, making them feel excited about coming to work. Um, and it's honestly, it's just nice to be back open again, back up and running. And the pools are busy. Like everybody wants to get into a swim lesson these days, and our real challenge as an industry is finding people to be able to provide those lessons, right? So
And
that, I know
those are
that.
themes when I was checking out I'm coming to this conference. I'm excited.
We're
When I
excited
was
too.
looking at some of the themes, like what you said is like connecting with your team, and some of those things you said, like it definitely is reflected in this lineup. So do you
Yeah.
think like that's kind of like the new focus? Because I know in a lot of the industry, when I'm talking with peers and stuff, that's the big struggle, twofold. One, it's hard to find deck supervisor type positions because no one had experience over the past 2 years with COVID. And two, just finding bodies to get these programs rebooted. But then when I'm chatting with some of my swim school peeps, they're all like, yeah, we're staff, we're having our busiest sessions, that we've had. Has that been something that you found true within your own swim school, or are you guys struggling with staffing?
I mean, we're always struggling with staffing, right? And it's always something you got to keep your eye on that ball all the time, pre-COVID or post-COVID. Um, but I agree, like the staffing issue is a concern, definitely across our industry. And so we really tried to focus this conference to kind of lean into the issues that are relevant with our staff today, right? Like the young people that work with us today, they're concerned with sustainability, right? We're talking about that. They're concerned with having a strong culture, being excited about coming to work and connecting with people, right? About diversity, equity, and inclusion. I mean, our whole second day of conference is related to leadership. And how do
Nice.
you really lean into your staff and connect with them and make them feel like the job that they're doing is relevant and that they're appreciated? And I think that's something that we all really do in aquatics. When kids come in, we make them feel warm, welcome, high fives, hugs, lots of positive compliments. And we need to do the same things with our staff. And so that's one of the real focuses of this conference is connecting with staff and making them feel like they're part of this bigger organization and that they're relevant.
And I think you hit a really important theme here in this conference because a lot of people are talking about how much money do we throw at them? What ad do we need to do? Let's put old people in our pictures and try to get retirees. But you're kind of really nailing down on this. If we have strong leaders and we build great culture and
Yes.
we focus on that, they will come. And that's really cool to see you guys leaning into that with this. And I'm all about workplace culture for everyone watching. They know that I'm all about that. So that's one of the things that I really responded to when I was looking at your lineup here.
I
So
mean,
let's,
just culture exists in your facility. It exists right now in every place where people come together. There's a culture. The question is, how much are you influencing and shaping that culture inside of
yeah,
your facilities, right? And so, really engaging with your team and meeting them face to face, eye to eye, and supporting them through their work experience is really helping to shape a positive culture in your facilities.
yeah, they say good leaders exercise their values, great leaders create opportunities to exercise those values. And I think that this is what
Amen.
this conference is doing is get out there and create these
Amen.
opportunities so that you can get
Yes.
staff in the doors. So
Yeah.
let's go into this conference experience a little bit more. Do you have like a keynote, a primary speaker, or is it just kind of a whole bunch of your peers sharing with each other? What's the format look like?
Yeah, no, it's actually quite a different conference. We've really tried to create an all-in conference experience. So we do have Michael Brandween
Oh, wow.
headlining our conference. He might be better known to people that are in camps, but he's one of the best speakers in the world on how to create positive culture inside of your facilities and how to really communicate with your staff. So that's one that he's starting us off on the first day. But we've got a whole lineup of people talking about diversity, equity, inclusion, talking about environmental and social governance. We've got a speaker coming in from California who's talking about technology. Like, how are
Nice.
we using technology in our businesses and in our facilities to help run better and more effective facilities? Like, if we're still communicating with our staff through email, we're not meeting them at where they are, right? We need to be on Discord. We need to be on WhatsApp. We need to be in those spaces that they're already comfortable in so that we can connect with them. So it's not really other swim school owners getting up and speaking. We're really having a lot of key speakers coming in who are subject matter experts. And that's what really kind of defines this conference. The other great thing about it is it's kind of, like I said, it's all in. So we're together for 2 days. Not only are we in conference together, we're going out for dinner together. We're doing some wine tastings together. We're going to breakfast together because we understand that the best learning that happens at conference doesn't happen in conference. It happens outside. It happens in those random interactions and that you have with people
Building
outside.
that network.
Yeah, building your network, right? Um, so curating that and encouraging people to come together in those random interactions is where the best learning happens, and we're really trying to curate those spaces.
Love it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that that's important. I know for me, that's been a huge key to some of my success. And, people think I'm brilliant for solving some problems, but I just pick up the phone and call someone else and was like, I think you told me you struggled with this a year ago. What did you do? And then It's just, stealing what's worked in other places. And I agree with you that that is such a key part to a conference is building those connections. And it's great that you guys are intentionally structuring some of that into there. That's awesome.
I really believe, Joey, that any issue that you're having inside of your facility right now, there's somebody at this conference that has a solution for that. And you just need to be able to connect with them with an open heart and an open mind, speak to them, and they're going to be willing to share what those solutions are. So all of us are smarter than any of us, and we're hoping to really magnify that at conference.
Love it. So
Yeah.
another direct message I got was like, do you think my city would send me to this? Because it's like Canadian swim school.
Right.
And I was reflecting on that a little bit, and I'm curious to know if you agree with my thought process here. But we think of like swim schools and cities and whatever, but really each city has their own swim school built in. And I know from my municipal career, we're like the main engine for the revenue. So in a post-COVID world, there's a lot of focus for us to start getting some financial sustainability back up and our cost recovery. And our swimming lessons are a huge part of that. And our big barrier now is like team members and staff. So I was thinking like, yeah, this is like super relevant for cities because um, we need to be experts at our swim schools. And you guys that have been running swim schools, you guys aren't worried about as many of these other random therapy and like you do some of those, but you are experts in this like swim school business. And I'm like, hey, like we have a lot to learn from that. And also, like I'm past chair of a big conference. We struggled getting sessions on swimming lessons. We had tons about lifeguarding and risk management, but like it was tough to get some of that swim lessons. So to me, I was like, hey, this is like a pretty great thing. And if I'm in a municipality, and that's one of the reasons why I want to go, is like I need to learn from these people that their success is dependent on doing the swimming lesson thing really well. Um, so like that's kind of what I think it's relevant. Would you agree with that? Do you think it's just for your swim school community, or do you think everyone kind of is going to come and learn from this?
As much as you want to learn from us, we want to learn from you. You have so much to add to our conversation. Like, how do you take multiple locations like the cities have and run them so well? I mean, that's something that a lot of private operators say, wow, I've got one location, I'm doing well. How do I run three or four at the same time? Right. And I think for many years, our industry's been siloed, right? You've got your municipality programs over here, privates, YMCA's, boys and girls clubs, swim teams are off by themselves. And I think it's just time for all of us to come together and learn from one another. So creating those spaces and those opportunities for people to be able to engage with one another is important. But yeah, swimming lessons are important, but there's a lot of things in aquatics that are important,
I
right?
COVID taught us because we all got hit by COVID. Like it
Yeah.
impacted all of us, right? So like that kind of created this like common thread for us all
Yeah.
to,
Well, this
get back together and figure it out because the rising tide lifts all boats, right?
absolutely. And yeah, the government didn't see us as separate silos inside of aquatics. They said if you're running a pool, you're shut down, right? And if you're running a pool, you're open, right? And so we need to start to act like that and come together like that, so we can advocate for one another. So yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
Okay, well, Tiernan, thank you for your time. On behalf of everyone watching this, for everyone watching this, check out, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, CanadianSwimSchool.ca is where they can get information. They click on events on their website.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you can post a link there for it.
And there's they can still register now if they can get their approvals in time, because I think it's beginning November, November 2nd, 3rd,
November
1st.
2nd and 3rd, right? We're going to be running, but on the Tuesday, the day before, we're actually doing a workshop in the afternoon in Toronto.
Nice.
It's only $50 to attend per person. You don't have to be a member, and it's going to be with Michael Brandwein, and he's talking about building community, building culture, and strong communication practices inside of your facilities. So if you have team members that want to come to that, that would be a great event, and it's super reasonable.
Yeah, I Googled him quickly because I've heard his
He's
name a bunch
he's
of times when
awesome.
I've traveled, and I think he's presented in all but two states and was like
Yes.
on TV and has books and all kinds of stuff. So I'm pretty stoked about learning
Yeah,
from him and getting kind of inspired
absolutely.
with that. Awesome. So thank you again. I think you're
Thank
in
you.
Lifeguard Authority. People can even maybe just DM you. Maybe I'll tag you in my post so that if they have any questions, they can reach out to you. And I'll put the info about the conference in the blah, blah, blah with the video.
Perfect.
So again, thank you for your time. Thank you for everything you're doing to serve our industry. Thank you for putting this education event together that we can all benefit from. I know it's outside of your job for you and whoever else involved. So thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day.